Hello JoJo fans, I am here to answer the age-old question, that is, could John Rod solo all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? John Rod will go through the JoJo gauntlet against three of some of the strongest JoJo characters that we know. With that being said, who is John Rod? John Rod is the stand of an unknown enemy in JoJo's 9th part, the JoJo Lands. As of right now, John Rod's abilities include number 1, Aura Monster. Whoever John Rod is nearby is faced with his absolute aura. This ability seems to disrupt people's minds and be massively intimidating, as we saw with Mundra. Speaking of him, let's have a quick memorial for my PFP, because I know no one will mourn him but me. Anywho, number 2, Fast Travel. The rods that Henry Stickmin is constructed of seem to be able to travel quickly across the sky, seemingly coming out of nowhere when they first appear, and instantly teleporting off JoJo's group, seemingly. This means that in battle, John Rod will likely have great mobility and speed. You could argue that John Rod is only fast when he's in his 2-rod form and not his humanoid form, but I mean, this is John Rod we're talking about. Number 3, Explosive Hope of Death and Destruction. That is the name I have given to John Rod's one-shot attack. Please help me make that name stick. Basically, if John Rod is touching you or in contact with you, he can sprout these little bulbs of light from his body, which then transfer to you, and then explode. This attack had enough power to blow apart a human being in 2 seconds flat. Those are all John Rod's powers that will be taken into consideration for today's matchups in the gauntlet, with matchup 1 being against Prime Jotaro Kujo from part 3. Now, the biggest problem for John Rod here is that he can't just speed blitz, at the speed of light mind you, Jotaro, due to time stop. The key that John Rod holds in this confrontation is Aura Monster. I feel that with the confidence in John Rod's strut, his power will trample on Jotaro Kujo's mind. Jotaro wouldn't even be able to summon his stand, and in this defenseless state, John Rod would simply walk up, lay a gentle leg on Jotaro, and use Explosive Hope of Death and Destruction to annihilate him. You could argue that Jotaro has enough aura to counteract John Rod's Aura Monster, but come on, no. Next up in the gauntlet is Pucci using his stand Made in Heaven, aka the main antagonist of Stone Ocean. The biggest thing going for Pucci is his insane speed. But to be sincere, I believe this is an easy victory for John Rod. Pucci was easily mesmerized and charmed by Dio. Simply using pure fear to paralyze Pucci would be too easy for John. So he would do something else. You see, in chapter 38, during Mundra's death, he seems to be mesmerized, almost hypnotized by John Rod's light body, saying, "So pretty," before he died. R.I.P. See, I think John Rod would mesmerize Pucci with his body. I'm delighted his body's light. And just like that, Pucci would offer himself up as tribute to such a magnificent stand. Alright, this is the end of the gauntlet, the final battle for John Rod. And they're up against Giorno and their stand, Golden Experience Requiem. The strongest stand of today versus the strongest stand in history. Now, if you've forgotten, GER has the ability Return to Zero. This ability, in the JoJo Wiki, is described as able to nullify the actions and willpower of anyone who opposes it, preventing their actions from becoming reality. Also, GER has the abilities of Golden Experience to give life to inanimate objects. John Rod is actually in a jiff with this fight. I don't know if
I'll do it, but if a Jif peanut butter can appears on screen, I'm sorry. It's a really bad joke. But for real, John Rod may actually struggle. GER is an automatic stand, so if John Rod were to act against Giorno, they would return to 0. But, kinda taking this literally, John Rod cannot physically reach 0. Light, at its core, is a wave of electromagnetic fields, and according to Heisenberg's principle, the lowest point light can achieve is 0 point, not 0, 0 point. John Rod is made up of this light that can never return to 0. Therefore, in a roundabout way, GER's greatest ability would never have an effect on John Rod.